Outlander, the chief awaits you in the arena, past the throne.
This must lead to the arena. It's another part of the ruins, turned into a fighting ring.
Look at them all. They know about it. Regalla can try all she likes. Crush her.
Oh, this could be useful.
Aloy, it seems you've had to move mountains to bring the Sky Clan to heel. Literally.
Katalo helped.
Yes. Tekote reprimanded for all the clan to see. You both served well. But now the cool route is at hand. Some have come to compete, others to bear witness. They know Regalla will come for me.
I'll do whatever it takes to hold up my end, as long as you remember yours. So what's the plan?
Katalo.
There are only two viable ways to attack the arena. Through the throne room you just passed, and by the trail on the north end. We've set up barricades at both. But if Regalla means to assault the cool route with machines, she will have to attack by the trail.
You will join our defenders there. Hold the line, and I'll have my marshals. You will be free of my service and receive your reward. Make whatever preparations you must. Once the cool route begins, you must see it through.
I know where I'll be. What about you two?
I will be here with the chief, where I belong. Should the fight reach us, we will take the blood owed for our fallen.
If it comes to that, the defenses will hold.
No to, moi drodzy, chyba zaczynamy, co?
The grove, the arena, it's all part of the same ancient structure?
Yes. Here the land remembers the sacrifice of the 10. Their deeds commemorated for eternity.
Sacrifice?
The visions tell us that on the ground below, they gave their lives in a fight against machines. We honored them by holding the cool route where they fell.
Let's get this over with.
Good. You'll find Dekka at the north barricade with the rest of our defenders. Strike true as the 10. I'll see you when this is done.
No ciekawe, czy będzie dane nam walczyć swoją bronią, czy też będziemy mieli jakąś przypisaną, to też jest ciekawe. A to ja muszę tam lecieć? Dlaczego? Aha, dobra. Widocznie tak to tutaj musi być. A co ja mogę tutaj jeszcze zrobić? Mamy wytwarzanie amunicji, no ale to warto zrobić. Nie wiem, czy tutaj zużywamy mniej surowców, ale zróbmy to. I mamy jeszcze tutaj do wytworzenia i chyba tu jeszcze. To by było chyba na tyle, jeśli o to chodzi. Ulepszenia broni, co nam przysporzyło. Porażający łuk myśliwski bierzemy. Akceptujemy to. Porażający łuk myśliwski. Ulepszenia ubioru. No tutaj mamy szeryf tenaktów. Jeszcze raz poziom drugi. Jeszcze raz poziom trzeci. No i dobra, i to by było na tyle. Szeryf tenaktów. No to rzućmy okiem na ekwipunek. Aktywuj to. Możemy zmienić sploty, bo coś... Wybierz miejsce. I co my tu mamy? Odporność na czyści wodę i plazmę. Odporność na ogień. W sumie to nie wiem, z jaką maszyną będę walczył. Odporność na czyści wodę. No załóżmy, że odporność na czyści wodę i plazmę. Odwaga przy niskim zdrowiu. A dlaczego ja nie mogę tego aktywować? Zastosuj wygląd. No nie mogę tego aktywować? Dobra, ale tak mniej więcej to wygląda. Tutaj uzupełnimy sobie wszystko. Dobrze, co jeszcze możemy zrobić? Chyba to byłoby na tyle.
Mr. Kote, his thugs, of course.
Upcomer, Easterner.
Didn't think the Sky Commander himself would be joining us today.
If there's a chance my challengers will be facing Regalla, it is only right their commander join in their fate.
Or maybe you need to save face after what happened at the Bulwark.
Careful now. Sometimes sharp wits bring out sharp spears.
I'd save my spear for Regalla's troops, if I were you.
Dość, kurczę, taki spokojny, ale bezczelny typ. Zresztą Aloy mu pokazała, gdzie jest jego miejsce. Ale nic, zobaczmy, jak to tutaj wygląda. Z kim ja muszę tutaj pogadać? Muszę wejść na górę. Jak tam wejść? O, proszę, pułapeczki. No nie mogę wejść? Kurde, o co tutaj chodzi? No mógłbym mnie teoretycznie rzecz biorąc rozbroić, ale... Zaraz, no ja nie wiem, jak tam się dostać. No bez jaj. Jak tam mam wejść? Czekajcie, może spróbuję się tam jakoś zbliżyć mimo wszystko. Tylko którędy? No ja nie mogę. Tędy jakoś? No nie. A jest drabina, no dobra, kurczę, że ja nie zauważyłem tego wcześniej.
Focus on the machines. Take them down, and Regalla's forces become no different from our own.
Yes, Chaplain.
Watch each other's backs. Dismissed. Our soldiers are ready. They will defend the cool route from below. But from above...
Not bad. Where did you get it?
One of our squads ripped it off a fallen machine. The honor is yours. Regalla may have her tricks, but you will show her our teeth.
Oho. Zaczyna się.
Tana! The cool root is upon us! Our struggle demands new blood! New leaders! Release the quarry! Challengers, approach! All who take down a machine shall be named Marshal. Remember the 10. Strike from the air as they did, and seize your glory.
Może teraz ty dołączysz, co? Ale ta broń...
Defend the cool root. Keep firing, Aloy.
O kurczę, ja muszę wszystko to rozpierdzielić? Mam nadzieję, że mi amunicji nie zabraknie, chociaż...
Bring it down.
Dobra, załatwiony. Ty załatwiony. Załatwiony. Kolejny ty jesteś, kurczę, dość. O, Holender.
The weapons along the side. Shoot them.
No nieźle.
Stand firm. Pick up that weapon and start firing.
Kurczę, broni nie mogę już użyć, ale mam kolejną.
Pick up that weapon and start firing. Bring it down. Nice hit. That spot. Stand
Kurczę,
firm.
tylko... A jest, dobrze. Ajajaj. Padł. Padła. Czy to wszystkie maszyny? Mam nadzieję. Jest zwycięstwo.
Can't be all of them.
There. What is that?
Co to ma być? Skałokrusz? Niszczy wszystko na swojej drodze.
Hold the defenses! Go!
Aloy musiała porzucić tą broń. To na pewno jest skałokrusz. Jak on tutaj się przedostał? Dosłownie niszczy wszystko na swojej drodze. Ła. Jest i Regala. A więc to ona. Hekaro się wycofuje. Nie do wiary. No, Aloy. Będziesz miała twardy orzech do zgryzienia. Gdybym tylko mógł cię teraz dosięgnąć moją bronią. Ale jest inna maszyna. Jak to się nazywa? No na pewno nie falopol.
Get to the weapon! If I can draw that thing close, open fire! Hey!
Jeszcze zwróciła
Over here, you big worm!
na siebie uwagę tej maszyny.
This thing down.
Kurczę,
Hopefully the Denok will fire a few shots from that ballista.
co tu wykorzystać? Ta. Nie, to nie przynosi żadnego efektu, a nie mam czasu na analizowanie.
I'm in position! Let's bring this thing down!
Aj, wysyła jakieś fale dźwiękowe.
Okay.
Zmienimy taktykę, co? Aj. Ła. Brak kondycji, Holender. Ale powinienem go, kurczę, zaraz załatwić. Leży. Załatwiony. Jak się miota, jak się miota. Leży. Ła. O, ła, ła, ła. Ale jaka zadowolona Aloy.
I hate those things. Regala went after Hikaru and Katara.
Ślizgawiec. Skubany. A zaraz. Znaczy ja powinienem teraz chyba dopaść regale, co? No chyba tak. A jak tam się przedostać? No mamy podpowiedź. Chyba mamy podpowiedź, a może i nie mamy. Tędy jakoś?
Well, we'll see how this goes. Champion, get to the chief!
Jaką ja mam broń teraz? Nie zawsze ten odskok... Ach, kurczę, pomyliłem. Dobra, chwila. Chwila. Kogo tu trzeba zaatakować? Może na razie skupić się na przeszukaniu. Przecież nie będę tutaj wracał nie wiadomo ile razy. A my musimy lecieć tam dalej. Mam 3 strzały, okej, ale to jest łuk myśliwski, to wiecie, to obrażenia nie będą takie duże jak przy łuku wyborowym. No proszę. Hekaro? Regala? Razem. Co to za maszyna? Co za trafienie? Przytrzymała to wszystko, ale jazda.
Katalo!
Ciekawe, czy uszła z życiem. A jednak. No, musisz się wycofać, koleżanko.
This isn't finished. I'll be back with everything I have. And all who stand with Hekaro will be run red.
No, jeszcze zobaczymy. Moja turkaweczko.
At attention. You fought well. Proved yourself against enemies both metal and flesh. I name you all Marshal. Your first order is to secure the arena from any remaining rebels. Go. I failed. I should have finished Regala. But now she'll be back with more machines. Stronger than ever.
I'll do what I can to help.
No, you've done enough. Far more than our bargain called for. When we first met, you spoke of your true mission on which all depends. I wasn't certain if I believed you then. But I believe in you now. So leave me. And get to your task.
What will you do?
Tend to the wounds. What you need is there. Take it. Your deeds today will be remembered like those of the 10.
Choroba. Zdobędziemy Etera. Co ona powiedziała? Muszę najpierw co? No ale nic, wejdźmy tutaj. A czekajcie, a tutaj wokół. Muszę najpierw odnieść Demeter do bazy. Ajajajajaj. A więc tak. Dobra. To lecimy do bazy w takim układzie. A do Gaju pamięci oczywiście wrócimy. Jeśli chodzi o bazę, gdzie jest nasza baza... Lecimy tam. No i tak, wczytywanie odbędzie się bardzo szybko, więc nie będę robił żadnej pauzy. Mamy to. Leć tam, Aloy, i porozmawiaj z Gają. A może też porozmawiamy z Zo? Może ona ukończyła badania, kto wie. Zresztą zaraz się przekonamy. Rzadko tutaj zaglądam, powiem wam, tak szczerze, w ukryciu i w tajemnicy. No patrzcie tylko, możemy pogadać z Erendem.
Hey, look who's back. You find what you're looking for?
I did. One step closer to taking the fight to the zeniths.
Can't wait.
I was hoping you could help me with something. It's about the Tenakth rebels, and it also has to do with the Oseram.
Really? That doesn't sound good. Let me know what I can do to help.
Co mógłbyś zrobić?
You still sifting through loads of data?
Yeah, it's interesting. There's lots of words. I thought maybe I could try finding things with more, pictures in it. Not much luck there, but I did find out about these holofilms. Like images put together to tell a story. They were made to look like they were the real thing. The Oseram like shows. I bet they pay a lot of shards for those hollows.
How are things going around here?
Hey, you tell me. Varl's new girlfriend tried to kill me earlier.
What did you do?
I made one joke about how they, eat grass a lot. How does anyone fight with nothing but tree leaves in their stomach anyway?
From the looks of it, the Utaru.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting her to be that fast.
Just try not to get hurt. I discovered an Oseram militant group. They call themselves the Sons of Prometheus. It looks like they're the ones overriding machines for the Tenakth rebels. They're familiar with ancient tech, and they're as anti-Karja as it gets.
So, last year we stopped Durval and his cronies from blowing up Meridian in retribution for the Red Raids. And now you're telling me we have another group of Oseram trying to wipe out the Karja with an army of machines and bloodthirsty Tenakth?
Pretty much.
Well, that's just great.
Is there any way you can help me find out who they are? Anything to track them down and stop them?
Well, I could have the Vanguard check Chain Scrape and Barren Light in case they're moving any supplies through there. But if they are, I'll bet they're being careful about it.
Yeah. And they have focuses too. Makes it easier for them to evade guards and patrols.
Hold on. Way back when we first met, you came looking for me in Meridian because you detected Olin's focus with yours, right? So does that mean that if I go back to the Daunt with this...
You could scan for other focuses.
if an Oseram is wearing one of these, they'd have to be a part of that Prometheus group.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I've been known to have those once in a while.
Just let me know if you find anything.
You got it.
No jaha, kurczę, co za słownictwo.
What's this?
Napad.
It's a Tenakth game. I'm pretty bad at it, but it's fun.
Think you could teach me?
I would, but I can barely make sense of it myself. Be better off learning from Salma and Chain Scrape. She can be pretty passionate about it, but she knows strike as well as any Tenakth.
Guess I'll have to make some time to visit her when I can.
Dobra, na pewno tak zrobimy, ale nie teraz.
I'll be...
Z kim by tu jeszcze jest Zo? A muszę do niej podejść chyba z tej strony.
Aloy, you found another one of Gaia's sub-functions?
2 down, 1 to go.
I'm glad her healing can continue.
Found anything else combing through that data?
Varl and I have been looking into the animals of the old world. Apparently there used to be thousands more species roaming around than there are today. Can you imagine that? I'd give anything to see them, even as holograms. Though I know that without Artemis or Apollo, that may prove difficult. At least I can find comfort in knowing Gaia used many of them as inspiration for her machines. Her memory honors them.
Are you guys training with Erend as well?
If you count trying to stick a spear in his gut as training, then yes.
I've been told. Please tell me you weren't being serious, though.
Of course not.
Good.
I was going for a couple of broken bones. He called the Utaru leaf grazers. Laughed at the idea of us simple farmers being formidable fighters. Before I knew it, he and I were battling it out in the common room. The man is slow, but he can throw a hammer around. Don't look so worried. We're evenly matched. For now. Next time he's going down like a load of boar dump.
Just try not to kill each other.
Injuring his pride should be good enough.
I better get going.
Right. You've got that sub-function to deliver.
Oczywiście, że zaraz porozmawiamy z Gają. To nie ulega wątpliwości. Tylko tak. To nie tutaj, to nie tutaj. Czekajcie, bo... to też nie o to mi chodziło. Tutaj mamy tutaj. Czy możemy użyć terminalu wytwórczego? Nie możemy. Zresztą ja i tak bardzo rzadko dominuję te maszyny, także... O, nawet nie możemy tutaj wejść. A chyba musimy lecieć tutaj. Nie, jeszcze nie. Ale...
Okay. The focus I got from the Sons of Prometheus is encrypted. But with a little time, I should be able to hack it. There. Got it.
Aloy, it seems you've recovered some property that doesn't belong to you.
Well, you're not surprised to see me? You know, after you tried to sell me out to the Zeniths at the Hades Proving Lab?
Hardly. When I realized the lone huntress had been raiding Regalla's camps, I knew you had escaped. Subtlety is not your strong suit. From now on, I suggest you stay away from rebel operations. You're meddling with something you don't understand.
What I understand, Silence, is that you've doled out machine overrides to dangerous people and stoked up a tribal civil war. Again. I'm gonna put a stop to it.
Fine. Stubbornly blunder ahead as usual. Your efforts will only slow the inevitable. A warning, though. The Sons of Prometheus are very tenacious, and they want your head. There's nothing I can do about that now.
Oh, I'm scared. What will I do without your protection?
You should be scared, Aloy. More than you realize. But I have better things to do than educate you. Best of luck flailing about in the fog of ignorance.
Ow! One of these days, I'm gonna shut that arrogant mouth of his. Permanently.
Też mam taką
First, I
ochotę
have to figure out
skopać
why
mu
he's doing
tyłek.
what he's doing. Huh. Looks like someone's rearranged stuff in here.
Aloy, I see you found your room. Your companions thought you would appreciate a private space of your own.
That was thoughtful of them.
Dobra.
It was unlocked now.
Czekajcie, bo to chyba muszę... Którędy ja muszę tutaj przejść? Chyba tędy. Nie no. Przecież ja chcę porozmawiać z Gają. Którędy do niej się dostać? Bo szczerze powiedziawszy, ten obóz tutaj przyprawia mnie o... A tutaj to są chyba prysznice. Nie tak. Weźmy sobie misję. Też nie. A nie wiem, jak tutaj dostać się do Gai. Którędy to było? No może teraz są zablokowane te drzwi? Tutaj jest chyba wyjście. A tutaj mamy chyba po schodach. Tak mi się wydaje. Tak jest.
It is good to see you again, Aloy. I see you have recovered to meet her.
Aloy, can you come downstairs? Beta has something you need to hear.
Okay. I'll be right down.
Aloy,
I'm back, Gaia.
Hello, Aloy. What would you like to discuss?
O czym by z tobą tutaj pogadać? O kurczę.
Have you been able to make use of Demeter's functions?
Yes. I was able to mitigate most soil conditions and restore a temporary balance. You should notice less rampant plant growth in the area.
Maybe that'll give Plainsong's fields a chance to recover.
Unfortunately, recovery in that area is unlikely without the assistance of the Utaru's land gods. I have discussed this matter with Zoe. I believe we may have a workaround.
Yeah, I'm helping her out with that. There's something I'm still trying to figure out. Why was Demeter using flying machines to distribute metal flowers?
In its deranged state, Demeter was defending itself against a robotic swarm that would devour all plant life.
It thought the Pharaoh Plague was still happening?
It feared it would come again. As part of its directive of receding Earth's vegetation, it sought to protect plant life at all costs. And considering it had 20 years to proliferate, I expect you will continue to find the fruits of its efforts for some time.
It's a good thing I have the code to dissolve the vines, then. The missing subordinate functions. What can you tell me about them?
Artemis rewilded the Earth with a variety of animal species. Eleuthia was responsible for gestating, nurturing, and acculturating a new generation of human beings. Apollo was tasked with preserving, organizing, and disseminating vast archives of human knowledge and cultural achievements. Unfortunately, all archived Apollo data was purged on the 2nd of February, 2066, by order of Ted Faro.
Pharaoh, huh? I really hate that guy.
Understandable. He appears to have been pathologically narcissistic, impulsive, and unstable.
All 3 of the missing functions have already served their purpose, or were prevented from doing so. Do you still need them?
Restoring their remaining elements would increase my heuristic processing density, empowering my overall function. Unfortunately, as we now know they are in the possession of Far Zenith, attaining them in the short term is very likely impossible.
I guess our best shot at recovering them is by taking over the Zenith base. But we'll need Hephaestus and a bunch of combat machines to do that.
Correct.
Were you able to make use of Poseidon?
Yes. Many rivers, streams, and lakes associated with the regional watershed have been detoxified. As a result, red algae growth levels have seen a marked decline. According to my data, however, it appears a localized occurrence of red algae continues to persist near the coast.
Maybe I'll look into it when I can. So, Poseidon spent the last 20 years hiding out in Las Vegas. From the data I found, it seems the city had an advanced water reclamation system. Is that why Poseidon went there?
Most likely. In an effort to protect itself, Poseidon sought out a safe harbor where it could access water supply functions. There, buried and encased in a protective dome, it could guard against any threats.
Like 3 Oseram showmen?
I suspect that was not the first time it felt the need to repel trespassers.
So, once Hephaestus has been recovered and merged, you'll regain the capacity to mass-produce machines at cauldrons around the world.
Yes, and to program their behavioral routines, or even control them directly.
So you could build an army of machines. Attack the Zeniths and take them out.
It is in my nature to take any and all necessary steps to preserve life on Earth, human life above all. So yes, once I have been empowered with the capacities of Hephaestus, I could design, build, and command such an army. Given the nature of the far zenith threat, doing so may be our only option. I must admit, however, that I have misgivings about using such technology to kill, no matter how aggressive the enemy.
That's good. It means you have a conscience. As Elizabeth intended.
Indeed.
What do we know about ether?
Ether is responsible for detoxifying the atmosphere and moderating the weather. Acquiring it might allow me to quell the most severe storms in the region. But be careful. Like Demeter and Poseidon, it will need to be restored to its original code state before it is safe to capture.
Got it. Beta believes the Zeniths want to use the terraforming system to wipe out life on Earth. Start over, so they can build it how they want.
Further supporting our hypothesis.
But why? Given their technology, they could wipe out the tribes of the world by easier means. And if they're the same people who left Earth 1,000 years ago, wouldn't they want the biosphere to be as it was?
It is likely they adjusted to different planetary conditions in their colony on Sirius. They may be trying to recreate that environment here.
Turning Earth into a new Sirius. Their own personal playground. So the Zeniths are the same people who left Earth. Physically immortal. How'd they figure it out?
From what we know of Far Zenith, it is plausible that prominent geneticists and engineers were offered a place aboard the Odyssey in exchange for their expertise. Given enough time, technology, and resources, any challenge can be overcome.
Like how Minerva eventually generated the deactivation codes for the Pharaoh Plague.
Exactly.
The Zeniths. Gerard, Eric, Tilda, Verbena. Beta said they were some of the most powerful people on Earth. Do you know anything about them?
Unfortunately, no. My personal database is limited to those who worked on Zero Dawn. Additionally, it appears Far Zenith was quite secretive about their members. Only one, Oswald Dahlgard, was ever publicly known.
Right. He was the spokesperson back at their old launch facility.
What we can conclude from your and Beta's experiences is that the Zeniths are ruthless in pursuit of their goal. To protect life on Earth, they must be stopped.
The extinction signal didn't just wake Hades. It made every subordinate function self-aware. Why?
I have wondered this myself. So far as I can tell, Hades was the sole target, and the partial sentience imparted to other subordinate functions was incidental.
A signal that precise would require thorough knowledge of the system. How could the Zeniths know that?
From the records on your focus, it appears Far Zenith had an informant during the development of Zero Dawn.
Hank Shaw. He was supposed to steal a copy of the system for Far Zenith, but Elizabeth and Travis Tate caught him first.
Yes. It is likely Far Zenith acquired knowledge on the systems designed through him, despite his failure.
So from what Beta told me, I guess we can assume the Zenith's technology is powerful in all sorts of ways, right?
Yes. As your encounters with them amply demonstrate, they appear to make extensive use of robotic servitors. Further, they seem to be equipped with some kind of protective energy field that shields them from harm.
They seemed indestructible, but that weapon the rebels used stripped their shield somehow.
Throughout history, every defensive technology has eventually been defeated by an offensive counterpart. While we lack the anti-shielding weapon, were I to absorb Hephaestus and utilize it to create a large force of combat machines, no shielding could withstand such an assault indefinitely.
So there's hope.
Always.
How are things around here?
Zoe has been studying the morphology of her land gods in an effort to understand their sickness. Without the abilities of Hephaestus, I am unfortunately unable to correct their programming. However, due to Zoe's perseverance, we may have a workaround.
Yeah, she filled me in. Sounds promising. Varl and Zoe seem to like spending time together.
Indeed. While studying Old World data, Zoe discovered references to a dietary lifestyle known as vegetarianism. She appreciated the similarities with Utaru practices and encouraged Varl to try out this lifestyle.
And how did that go?
I believe they have agreed to disagree.
How's Erend handling things?
He is becoming increasingly accustomed to use of the focus after an initial incident.
What did he do?
He unfortunately crushed his first focus as he attempted to affix it to his temple. Amongst a number of Oseram curses, I believe he also blamed the focus for being dainty. He has given repeated assurances that it will not happen again.
Well, good thing we have a lot of extras, I guess. So there's a few people here now, and they're learning. All about you, the ancient world. Almost like what was supposed to happen before Apollo was purged.
Yes. While the loss of the Apollo database was catastrophic, there is still much that can be gleaned from the data you have uncovered. For instance, Varl has been reviewing the last recorded entries from those who perished during the Pharaoh Plague. Hearing their hopes and fears made him quite somber.
Anything I should be worried about?
I do not believe so. I have elected not to intervene, to allow him to process this on his own terms.
Gaia? What was Elizabeth like?
Her presence is interwoven with my memories. The moment I came online, she was there. We exchanged greetings, names, then set to our task. It was the first of many conversations. I enjoyed being in her company, listening to her stories. She was my creator, my guide.
Your friend?
Yes. When I reviewed the data on your focus, I was saddened to learn of her fate, though I am glad she made it home. I deeply wish she did not have to be alone.
She was okay with that. She gave all of herself. The only one who could. Thanks, Gaia. So, Project Zero Dawn. The greatest minds in the world, all working to build the terraforming system while the Pharaoh Plague devoured the planet. What was it like?
Personnel worked in rotations, at all hours of the day. Resources and technology were secured from across the world. Within a month of the project's conception, I was launched and began my education. Elizabeth encouraged me to spend time with the rest of the Zero Dawn staff. She said it was important to experience many personalities and perspectives to aid in my emotional development.
What were they like?
Scared, hopeful, determined. They were hurtling toward technological achievements on a scale never before attempted. I owe everything to their dedication.
So the Hades Proving Lab, where I found the Gaia kernel, it used to be a Pharaoh research facility?
Yes. Prior to appropriation by Zero Dawn, the facility was used to engineer and test advanced computer viruses. It appears to have been one of many research initiatives by Pharaoh Automated Solutions.
I guess it wasn't enough to build automated killing machines. He wanted viruses to infect them with, too. So, a while back, before the battle at Meridian, I went into Banuk territory. I discovered another AI there, one not related to Zero Dawn. Cyan. It was created to oversee operations for a volcanic stabilization project, and it spent the last 1,000 years in isolation. I'm guessing you didn't know about it?
No. From the data on your focus, it seems that Cyan was cut off from the outside world, an effort by its creators to protect it from the Pharaoh plague.
Any chance it could help us now?
I have already attempted contact, with no success. Given its previous experience with accepting an outside network request, I imagine it is unwilling to do so again.
Right. Because last time Hephaestus enslaved it. Well, that's too bad. I think the two of you would have had a lot to talk about. There was an ancient tank embedded in the bulwark, buried under a bunch of boulders. Any idea how it got there?
During the Pharaoh plague, the US military resumed the use of human combatants, as automated machinery was unreliable. It is possible the vehicle was part of a pre-automated war fleet.
So they fought against the Pharaoh machines in the valley, until the mountain was blasted apart and buried them. So the facility where I recovered Demeter used to be a Pharaoh agricultural research facility. It's where they created the biomass conversion system, but also adamantine wreath. Did Elizabeth know they were working on that?
It is likely she was briefed on other efforts to combat the machine swarm, though her focus was devoted only to Zero Dawn.
That makes sense. But they actually got the wreaths to work. If they've been able to deploy it against the Pharaoh plague in time...
Using the data you recovered on the project, I ran several simulations and have concluded that it would never have worked. In all scenarios, the Pharaoh war machines would eventually hack and deactivate the wreaths before they could contain the swarm.
So Zero Dawn really was the only solution. There was a lot of data in the greenhouse facility about agriculture. Do you think it'll help the Quen fix their homeland?
I will run a query. Complete. The data contains information about novel crop production methods, which may be beneficial to the tribe in the long term.
But new crops aren't going to save the world, so I guess it's on us.
It is.
When I dove down into Vegas, I found data about the man who built the dome over the city, Stanley Chen. It turns out he was a member of Far Zenith. But if he loved Vegas so much, why did he abandon it? Why not try to save it?
The Zeniths at their core have proven to be exceptional survivalists. Faced with overwhelming odds of extinction, they chose to flee.
Even still, what he achieved... Water to the wasteland, an entire city brought back to life. 1,000 years later, the whole place was still on standby, just waiting for someone to come along and wake it up. When we were at the facility where we found Beta, there were records that said Far Zenith were researching embryogenesis. I know they traded their ectogenic chambers to Zero Dawn, but why were they researching it in the first place?
At this point, we can only speculate. Perhaps at one time they meant the Odyssey to be a colony ship, necessitating such technology. As their goals evolved over time, so did their areas of research.
So they got more selfish as the risks of staying on Earth kept rising. So this facility, the Regional Control Center, it was meant to oversee the terraforming system?
For the local region, yes. Had humans received their education from the Apollo database, They would have then been guided here to assume operation. As that never happened, this place remained vacant.
Until Minerva decided to settle here. So I guess this room was meant to keep an eye on conditions outside?
Yes. From here, the facility's operators would have been able to observe weather and machine activity in real time. It may be possible to restore more of this room's functionality, should you find and reconnect additional camera feeds.
I'll keep a lookout. I should be going.
Goodbye, Aloy.
No do zobaczenia. Oj, proszę, mamy kolejne 5 punktów umiejętności. No to nie omieszkam rozdysponować. Tylko też zastanawiam się, czy tutaj wszystko wziąć. Szeroki ostrzał, 3 punkty. Powiem wam szczerze, że specjalnie nie kwapię się do tego. Tutaj mamy na przykład zwinna rzemieślniczka. To byśmy sobie wzięli. A do tego szybki potykacz, niech będzie. W końcu muszę spróbować to wykorzystywać. Mamy 0, nie mamy już dostępnych. I bardzo, bardzo ubolewam. Mistrzynię maszyn, no tutaj zaniedbałem rozwijania, ale na pewno będziemy mieli jeszcze sposobność pozyskiwania kolejnych punktów. Teraz dopiero informacje otrzymujemy. Chcesz zagrać w napad maszyn?
Yeah?
You should know. Silence is involved with the Sons of Prometheus. He's the one who gave them the override tech to begin with.
Why doesn't that surprise me? That's probably all part of some master plan, huh?
At least we know we're good at wrecking those.
Damn straight.
How are things going around here?
Hey, you tell me. Varl's new girlfriend tried to kill me earlier.
So I hear.
I made one joke about how they, you know, eat grass a lot. How does anyone fight with nothing but tree leaves in their stomach anyway?
From the looks of it, the Utaru.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting her to be that fast.
Just try not to get hurt. Let me know if you find any Sons of Prometheus in the Daunt. I'll keep scouting those rebel camps.
Be careful.
Oczywiście, że będę ostrożna, chłopie. Teraz chyba porozmawiamy z Betą.
Hi! Happy birthday, Isaac. Daddy sure does love his little big man.
She found that recording from the data on your focus. She's been watching it a lot. I think it helps calm her.
You know, I used to watch this a lot too. Whenever I wanted to take my mind off things.
Daddy sure does love his little big...
But there's something you need to tell me?
While you were gone, I came down here to check on her. Then we started talking. Right, Beta? She's been thinking about how to capture Hephaestus, studying the data Gaia gave her. But we started talking about some other stuff. You know, just getting to know each other, right? And then she told me that one of the Zeniths might be different from the others.
Tilda. You saw her at the Hades Proving Lab.
Go on.
On the way to Earth, the Zeniths never showed their faces. My servitor caretaker referred to them as my benefactors, and promised I'd meet them someday, when I had learned enough.
And then?
One day, a data channel opened in my training interface. In it, Tilda was waiting for me. In a virtual replica of a house on a cliff, overlooking the ocean. It was beautiful. She showed me paintings, books, media files. We met there in secret many times. But a few months later, it stopped.
Can you tell us why, Beta?
I found some data about Tilda at the Hades Proving Lab. I think she was the liaison between Far Zenith and Zero Dawn. She knew Elizabeth Sobek, that's for sure.
Maybe that's why she reached out to you?
What else can you tell us about Tilda?
She liked to talk about her paintings.
What about herself? Did she ever talk about her life on Earth, how she joined the Zeniths, something like that?
She never said much about herself, and she hated it when I asked too many questions. But I think, back on Earth, she was an expert programmer, given that she built a data channel the other Zeniths couldn't detect.
Is there anything else about her that we might be able to use to our advantage?
She was the first real person who ever bothered to speak to me. I wasn't really assessing her for strengths and weaknesses.
You said that Tilda reached out to you using a data channel?
It appeared in my training interface as another assignment. When I opened it, there were a series of intermittent glitches. I realized they formed a transpositional cipher. Instructions on how to open up a new virtual space. When I entered it, my training interface disappeared. Instead of the usual holographic teachers and files, I was in a perfect recreation of her home.
And you're sure the other Zeniths never knew about it?
To them, it looked like I was still in training. Toiling away. Alone.
So this secret virtual space looked like a house with an ocean view?
I could see whitecaps and hear waves crashing on rocks below. And there were gulls crying outside. Inside, Tilda had frames that showed off her favorite paintings, changing at intervals to match the light. There was an armchair she liked. She'd sit there and gaze outside while I looked through her things. We spent hours in that house. I never wanted to leave.
You said Tilda showed you paintings and let you access media files?
Every time we met, she showed me a new painting. I think she was Dutch. All of her favorite pieces were from their golden age in the 1600s. Portraits, allegories, ships at sea. She had so many.
They didn't interest you?
I liked her media portal. It had so much more than my training interface. Clips, shows, holos. My favorite was this one called Second Time Around, about a family whose kid comes back after disappearing during the Hot Zone crisis.
Right, but did this portal have anything about the Zeniths themselves? Anything we could use?
No. Any information about them was redacted.
So Tilda set up a secret virtual space where she could talk to you, a house on a cliff. Then later, she cut you off. But other than the fact that Tilda knew Elizabeth, you don't know why she did those things?
I don't! Okay? I thought of every possible reason that would make her leave, but whatever I did wrong, I don't know what it is. When I finally met the others, she ignored me. Acted like the data channel never existed. None of this even matters. Tilda's the same as the others. It won't help us defeat them.
Okay. Let's leave it at that then.
What's wrong?
I'm trying, Varl. But she is tough to take. I'm out there in the wilds, risking my life every day, and all she can do is hide in there and tell us how hopeless it all is. I'm sorry she's had a rough time, but she is really not helping right now.
You always seem to be on top of everything, so I sometimes forget about what you've been through. I mean, it wasn't that long ago you were so banged up you couldn't even walk. About that. When I pulled you out of the water back near the proving lab, you were muttering Rost's name. You never talk about him. But he raised you, trained you. You must miss him a lot.
Of course I do. But I don't have time to think about that now. I need to get back out there.
Okay. I'll keep working with Beta. Gaia says she knows a lot about Zero Dawn. And maybe she just needs some time to adjust, and then she can help us with Hephaestus.
Sure. But I won't hold my breath.
So the old ones painted their faces with something called makeup.
Hey, got a sec?
Of course.
No przed chwilą rozmawialiśmy. No dajcie spokój.
How's training?
Discovering something new about our past every day. When we first met, you asked me if I ever wondered what this world looked like when the old ones lived here. I thought it was strange at the time, but a lot has changed since I left the Embrace. Now I'm just trying to make sense of everything I thought I knew versus everything I know now.
The change is hard, but it gets easier over time. It's hard to believe we're dealing with the original Zeniths. The same ones that left for Sirius 1,000 years ago.
To live on for so long, it doesn't seem natural.
Because it's not.
That weapon we found where Beta was hiding. Any chance we can use that against them?
Sylens made sure that wasn't an option.
Why would he build something to hurt Far Zenith, yet allow them to capture you?
With Sylens, there's always an angle. We just don't know what it is yet. What do you make of this Tilda the Beta was talking about?
Well, the way she described it, I can't shake off the feeling that Tilda wanted something from Beta. Maybe because she's Elizabeth Sobek's clone? But whatever she wanted, I don't think she got it. If we knew what it was, maybe we could use it to our advantage somehow.
I don't know. I don't think Tilda and Elizabeth were on the best of terms.
Oh well. At least we can take some comfort in knowing the Zeniths don't trust each other.
Maybe. You feeling okay?
I was just thinking about Beta and all that time spent with the Zeniths. To think someone would make a person just to lock them in a room to use when needed, like some sort of tool. Elizabeth Sobek sacrificed herself for the world, and yet they have no trouble treating Beta like a slave.
Another reason we have to stop them. You brought up Rost before. I do think about him. You know, he was all I had. And he brought me up the best he could. Not only that, when Hades discovered who I was and sent the Eclipse after me, he sacrificed himself so I could survive. But that seems like ages ago. So much has happened since. What I'm doing now, I don't think he could even begin to understand it. The Sacred Lands were all he really knew. So I can't let myself dwell on him. Not with everything I have to do.
I understand. Sometimes, when I think about my sister, about what she would have become if she had survived the proving, it hurts. And I just need to bury it for a while. But only for a while, Aloy. You can't ignore it forever. Memories always come back. The ones that matter, anyway.
I know. But for now, the mission has to come first.
Fair enough.
I should get back out there.
We'll be here if you need us.
Z kim by tu jeszcze zagadać, zanim zakończymy ten materiał? No jeszcze ten kurczę errand.
Aloy, it's everything all right? It seemed like you and Varl were down at that basement for a while.
Yeah, everything's fine, I guess.
Well, okay. What can I do for you?
It seems like you're getting a hang of this data thing.
Yeah, it's been helpful. When I could make sense of anything. I did find the old ones enjoyed a good brew like the rest of us. Only they let machines serve the stuff in bars. They even let the damn things cut you off before you saw the underside of a table. And that's half the fun. You won't see me letting a robot serve me a pitcher anytime soon.
Do I smell ale?
I brought some over from Chain Scrape. With everything that's been going on, I thought we could all use a drink. Besides, there is nothing that brings people together like a good brew. That's what my sister always said, anyways. You're more than welcome to have some.
Maybe another time. I should get going.
Back to reading, I guess. You be careful out there.
No dobra, Azo.
Aloy.
Hey, how's everything going?
I am well, but Varl told me Beta's having a hard time adjusting to life here with us. I wish there was something I could do to help.
I'm not sure any of us can.
A tree won't bear fruit in a day. We'll do our best to make her feel welcome.
What are you going to learn next?
I'm not sure. I asked Gaia for suggestions, and she brought up data you found on something called a museum? From what I gather, the old ones would store knowledge in them for all to see, like you've done here for us. Maybe one day more people will be able to use this place to learn the way we have.
That sounds... The Zenith did a number on Beta. But she seems to trust Varl.
I still can't believe she told him the Zeniths are immortals. Old ones who cut themselves off from the cycle of life and decay. I've never heard of anything so selfish. To deny our dying bodies to the earth. To doom the life that would bloom in their place. It's despicable.
Is there anything I can help with around here?
Oh, no. We're doing fine.
Are you okay?
You and Varl have been friends for a while.
I like to think so.
I was wondering, what do you know about his mother?
Oh.
That bad, huh?
Why do you want to know?
He's spoken of his sister, Vala, but I noticed he avoids talk.
She's the war chief of the Nora. Best warrior the tribe's ever known. Tougher than a Thunderjaw, but she could be pretty harsh at times.
I see. That must have been hard on him. Thank you for telling me. I feel silly not being able to ask Varl directly.
I wouldn't worry about it. He's probably afraid Sona will scare you off someday.
I'd like to see her try.
I should get going.
Good luck on your search.
No to chyba by było tyle, jeśli chodzi o pogaduszki tutaj z moimi przyjaciółmi, z przyjaciółmi Aloy. No głównie chodziło mi o to, żeby odblokować wszystkie możliwe opcje dialogowe, no chociażby po to, żeby ewentualnie zdobyć jakieś zadania poboczne, ewentualnie również i przysługi, ale wygląda na to, że nic takiego nie nastąpiło, ale dowiedzieliśmy się również wiele o tym świecie panującym, jaki teraz tutaj jest. Dość surowy, trzeba przyznać. No ale to by było na tyle w tym odcinku, a ja zapraszam Was do kolejnego, który już niebawem. Z mojej strony to wszystko i do usłyszenia.